Hey everybody, it's Tyler from Grace and Silence. Welcome to High Voltage SLC, our new show in Studio B. And I'm really excited to have Ether from floatinground here. Did you see that little rhyme? I didn't even plan that. That's off the dome right there. But I'm really excited to talk to you. I've seen your band play now, and I really, really love your sound. And I'm excited to have a show upcoming with you on the 24th of August, Black Lung Society. Everyone needs to be there. But where did you grow up? Let's get into the interview. Let's start right now. Let's do it.
I grew up in St. George, Utah. There's not much there. I did grow up with very many friends, and so as an only child, I had an interest in art and music pretty early on. My dad was a huge influence in that. He plays almost every instrument you can imagine.
That's awesome.
And was in so many bands as I was growing up, so I got to see all different styles. I think it was a little daunting when I was younger, like
Sure.
a lot to live up to. But ultimately, I think as I've grown into my sound over the years, I can't thank him enough for, having me grow up with that sort of influence of music.
For sure. No, and, I didn't really grow up in a musical family or anything, but, my dad introduced me to heavy metal when I was really young, and that sound just really resonated with me.
You.
No, and I think it's great to have people who, role models like that who can influence the direction you're heading in a really positive way.
Absolutely.
And so when did you move up north to the sweet cold?
I moved up north at the ripe age of 21. I decided there wasn't much for me down there, and I could never get used to the heat. I had a friend that was moving up to Ogden. I had never heard of Ogden. I just decided to piggyback off of his plans and decide what I was doing, and just bummed around this town for a bit, and have made some of the best connections of my life here.
No, that's great.
9 years.
That's really, really, really awesome. So you're actually 30?
I am 30.
No shot.
I'm dirty 30. I know.
You gotta stop bullshitting. You can't lie to me.
I came late to the game. I only got back into music when I was 28. So I put it down for a lot of years. I would just kind of noodle with it at parties, but honestly, I hadn't written a full song since I was maybe 17.
Interesting.
So I just kind of, all my passions kind of went by the wayside kind of in my party years. And so a lot of life smacked me in the face. And at 27, right before I turned 28, I had a lover pass away in a car crash. And that kind of threw my whole world for a loop. And I decided pretty much a month after that if I didn't start focusing on what I was passionate about, I was never going to start. Yeah. And so I finished a few songs, and I took them to open mic, and I decided this is something that I want to pursue.
No, that's great. And that's really, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right. I think sometimes life has to hit you hard enough for you to recognize what's really important.
No, I think that's a really beautiful way to put it, and I completely agree. And so your band is Floating Ground.
Floating Ground.
How did you meet those folks?
So honestly, I was watching. So Cooper LaValle used to be our bass player, and he's great. I love him to death. I was watching him play with another band, and me and Wesley Renner, my drummer, currently, we were just watching him play, and I looked over at Wesley and I said, it'd be really cool. I was like, what if we got together, the three of us with Cooper, and tried to form a band? And then I was like, why don't we bring in John Abligan as the guitarist? And we kind of just we kind of just both had a light bulb moment where we're just you know what, that could actually work. And we just started jamming at Wesley's apartment. And at the time I only had my 10 originals, and so we didn't have a lot of material. Sure. And I was the only one writing songs with lyrics. They're all very talented, but I'm the lyricist of the band. Sure. And so we just kind of took it off from there.
That's great. 10 songs and you're acting like that's nothing. That's you're bringing
at the time.
I feel like 95% of musicians are coming to a band. 95% of musicians come to a band with a joint. They're not coming with songs.
That's a good point. And honestly, I had been in other bands before, but I had never started a band.
Sure,
So I was
different.
in a lot of cover bands, and I've been kicked out of every band I've been in my early 20s because I have too much stylistic integrity. And like, if I don't feel a song, like they want to do a cover and I don't feel it, I won't do it. I was just like, you're going to know that I don't feel the song, you know?
No, I think that there's something to be said for that, you know, that you kind of have to be in it.
Yeah, I want it to be authentic.
Of course, you know, you don't want to be up there pretending to like something.
No, this is not like, that's not that kind of show. Like, I'm not acting, you know, this is an extension of me. And it's like, really important.
I completely agree. Yeah, and I think that there's different ways to go about, you know, a stage persona. And some people, what they need to do is kind of go away from what their real identity is and kind of create something else.
Right.
But I really respect, and frankly, there's a lot of that in what I do. It's kind of parts of me that maybe are, they're still parts of me, but they're not how I normally
They're
act.
exaggerated.
Right. You know, but I respect like having a bit more authenticity to what that is.
Right.
So you've got a record out now.
I do, our little EP.
Awesome. No, it's really cool. So how did that come about?
So Chasing Bunnies came about where we wanted to get some solid music out, because once we started playing a few shows and people were asking like, where do we listen to? I'm like, at the next show, you know what I mean? We just wanted to have something. And so I made the jump and moved into bigger apartments so that we could have the jam space at my house. And from then on, we were doing, and we've still been doing, practice twice a week. And we decided to borrow a bunch of microphones and just kind of jimmy rig it ourselves.
That's awesome.
And Wesley is really like the mastermind with the mixing. I honestly don't know any of that side. He is the mathematician of the band.
Sure.
And so I'm more of like the emotional
part.
No, like I'm the writer.
Sure.
So we're like polar opposites. And then John just bridges the gap. And so like we came together on that, and it was such a fun project. I wrote a lot of songs through that time. We all just like hung out at my house and recorded little snippets, and then Wesley would go home and edit them. And it was really a labor of love. We worked really hard on that.
No, it's really cool, and I really enjoy it.
I'm glad.
So you got a favorite tracks?
Honestly, I would say I have two, and my reasoning is Cat Song is the first track. It features meows from all four of my cats, so that's special to me. And honestly, that's the first song I wrote as an adult. So in 2020, in the middle of the pandemic.
Not real adult.
Yeah, right? Right? Not real grown up. It was Cat Song.
Oh, real grown up. Sorry, I apologize.
No, that's totally fine. No, so Cat Song, I was the middle of the pandemic. I'm trying to write some serious, like, sad song. I'm like, I need to finish this song where I'm just, like, telling the world of my woes and, like, the state of the world. And I stopped myself and I was like, you are taking this way too seriously. You're trying to make it be something that it's not.
Sure.
And so I just sat there and I was looking at my cats. I just started singing about my cats. And like that 2-chord song has like transcended everything. I'll have people in crowds just yell out Cat Song. I'm like, it's my most simple song, but it was also one of the songs that got me back into music. And so that
totally. I think
means a lot to me.
No, for sure. And I think that people often get caught up in the extras. You know, it's like music doesn't have to be complicated to be great.
It doesn't. There is something to be said for simplicity.
And I think oftentimes it's kind of the opposite. I think that once you go past adding things that are driven by the song,
right,
and they're either ego driven or they're driven by a belief that it needs to be something
right
else.
You're trying to show that you're clever, you're trying to show that you can play like something cool, you know what I mean?
I'm guilty.
And
I'm guilty.
We all get showy sometimes. And honestly, with my other favorite of the album, it's Love Without the Bombs. That song started off as a 3-chord song, but I was playing with bar chords. I'm not a great guitarist. I'm a lyricist that learned to play guitar. So I'm playing these hard bar chords, and the bass player we had at the time was just like, why are you playing that like the hard way when you could just capo it on the 4th? And so I capoed it on the 4th, and he was like, it's a little simple. Maybe go home and add a few chords to it. So I came back and I had added like 5 chords to it, and he was like, that's too many chords. I was like, nope, you told me to add more chords. And now it has more chords, and now it's been a staple in our set list, and I really love that one. And even though we've gone through 3 bass players and we're currently a 3-piece, every single bass player we've had has taught me something. Everyone I've done music with has taught me something about my art, and I always like to take constructive criticism from other musicians because they're just there to impart their knowledge,
Completely.
And to learn to take that with grace has been something that I've gotten much better at over the last couple of years.
No, I completely agree. I think that we're missing opportunities if we don't allow other people's knowledge and experience to teach us.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, no matter who it is, no matter if it's someone who's been playing for 15 million years or picked up the instrument 3 weeks ago.
They all have different information is the thing. It's just like every musician I've met, they'll be like really good at this thing, but not so much at the other. And like bridging those gaps as a community is really important. I feel like we can all help each other with our art.
Awesome. So like, what are some other bands that like kind of inspire the sound that's on this record, that's on Chasing Bunnies?
Honestly, I like sort of a silliness. I like a lighthearted. There's sort of something like I like to do where I like to bring up the lighthearted emotions first to get you ready for the ones that hit harder.
Sure.
And so I think that a lot of that aspect was brought to me by 90s music. So I grew up with teenage parents, and they were always listening to the 90s. And so 90s alternative has like a chokehold on me. Where
no, it has it gave me a real like almost Cranberries vibe.
Yes, and I've heard that one a lot. So like Cranberries for sure. Fiona Apple is probably my biggest influence vocally and lyrically. And then, you know, with a little bit of an air of Amy Winehouse, if I can get it in there. But Chasing Bunnies was the songs I chose that are kind of like a charcuterie board of what we're trying to do, so to speak.
No, I think that's great. And the record that me and my band are working on, you know, kind of similarly, just, you know, kind of working through it ourselves a bit. And it can be a little bit daunting, especially with, you know, life going on, because it doesn't stop.
It really does.
It doesn't stop for the fact that, you know, you're working on something, everything just kind of keeps going and you need to push forward.
You have to just decide what's important to you, because your life will pass you by. And that's what happened to me when life smacked me in the face right before I turned 28. It's like, if you don't prioritize what makes you happy, you're going to get to your deathbed and you're going to have regrets. And I would rather regret some of the stupid things I did than what I didn't. And so with everything else I do to make ends meet, it's like following your passion isn't hard. It's everything around it that's difficult. It's making space for it. It's, you know, making money so that you can have all the things to progress it. It's getting it in front of the right audience, but doing what you love is the easiest part.
No, I couldn't I couldn't say anything better, actually. I couldn't talk at all. No, but yeah, I think that in feeling like you could have done something that you didn't, that's I don't know if there's anything that I'm more afraid of.
I think that is one of my biggest fears.
I mean, getting to the end of that road and being like, I could have done more.
Right?
I just that. No, that's
at
terrifying.
least like I want to be like, at least I tried. Like honestly, like I don't know where my music's going to take me. All I know is I want to play, and wherever that ends up taking me, I'm gonna go. And whoever is down to go with me, I'm taking them with me.
I think that's great.
All the artists that I've played with and that have influenced me, it's just like I want to ride this wave to the top with them. Like I want to continue learning with other musicians and collaborating and just doing all we can to like distill our art down to like its finest form.
No, I really love that. And talking about your music, when did you start writing songs?
So I started writing poetry even as a kid, and I believe I wrote a handful of songs. I found a really embarrassing YouTube channel from when I was a teenager recently, and there's a few songs on there where I was like, there was something there, and then I just did not believe in myself, honestly. And I had that weird idea, you know, going into my 20s of like losing the currency of youth, where if I didn't make it like right away, then I was never going to do it. And also the belief that it's all been sung before. And so when I would play a song and I would start to write something, I would worry that it was too much like something else, and so I would just quit.
Sure.
And honestly, getting over that hump where I recognize now that if something that I'm writing feels familiar, it's because it's true to me and I need to finish it to its end. It's that like idea of completion. Like if something feels too familiar, don't stay away from it. It's something to go towards.
No, I completely agree. And as my band has been progressing through writing this body of work, this record,
right.
That's something that we've, as I'm sure every other artist ever struggles with.
Oh man, have they already done this too much?
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's like, guys, we have 6 songs written. If we're repeating ourselves now, then we've got a real problem here.
I know. I've had that happen before where I played a new song that I was really stoked about, and my drummer was like, oh, that sounds a lot like this other song. And I know he didn't mean it as a diss, but just like those little things, I was like, wait. I was like, if I just strum this part like a little bit differently, it will differentiate it from this other piece of work. And so it's just like little things like that. I think it's really important to like listen to other artists, that just because they're gonna hear things that you don't.
No, for sure.
I may have never thought that song sounded like another one.
Totally. I mean, and that's it. Everyone hears things differently, just like everyone sees things differently.
Right.
I mean, the ability to take in information from other people is one of the most important resources that we have.
Right.
Is being able to value what other people have to say.
Exactly. And also not take it as a hit to who you are, because I think I just wasn't secure enough in my art in my early 20s to even show it, because I was so scared of somebody not liking it or wanting to change it in some way. And now it's like constructive criticism is like my best friend. It's like a favorite of mine. Like working with other musicians has opened my eyes to that it's just like a group, it's a community project.
No, I love that. I think that's where we're all trying to get, right, is a level of comfort with who we are and what we create, to where we're not at all offended.
Yeah.
It's just music.
Exactly.
And talking about like, something being too close to something else. We've been working on this song that we're actually, the first time that we're going to play it is going to be tomorrow at the Rise in Provo, which I'm excited for. But when we started writing it, Jace, the other guitarist in my band, who, me and him kind of are the band, and we just kind of hire other people out for drums and, well, I guess not for bass, considering we have tracks for that.
We want to do what you're doing.
No, I wish that we didn't.
I wish that we had a bass player that worked out, but, after 3, it's like, maybe this spot in the band is cursed. I don't know.
Yeah. We, and it's cost us so much time of like having to edit all these bass tracks to make sure they work.
Tighter for that, because
for sure,
to like a click. Basically.
No, for sure, and because we play to a click every show, and so that's part of it. But when we were writing this new song, it's called Revelation. Jace was just like, "Isn't that duality?" and so we're talking about it, and I'm like, and I'm strumming the chorus, and I'm like, oh, this shares 3 out of the 4 chords. Oh.
Right.
And then I was like, well, what if I sing a really, really different melody over it?
Exactly.
And it's like, because of course, so many bands have used the exact same chords.
Favorite chords. I have a problem. Like, I'll write a song and I'll find a cool chord, and I'm like, ooh, if I use only this familiar chord in the next song, but I change all the other chords to something else, I can get away with it.
No, that's funny. No, I love that. Yeah, it's just, trying to figure out how to steal originally.
Right? I think art is for everyone. I like you're going to get influenced by something. Like, you might not know you're copying something else. I always have to remind myself when I'm writing that it's all been done before, but not like this. And so if I just stick with it and I like bring the idea or the song to completion, I can make it my own by the end. But sometimes it will be that last line or a hook or some chorus or just the way that I strum something that will differentiate from the source that I got the inspiration from.
For sure. No, it's music. I mean, there's only, at least in, our Western system of music, there's 12 notes.
Yeah. There's only so many options.
There's only so many options. It's about what can you do with the same tools that everyone else has been given, the same set of notes. And I think that those, I wouldn't even call it restrictions, but for, because I can't find another word, those restrictions to those 12 notes, it forces you to be a little bit more creative.
You have to. One of my other biggest fears is, honestly, have you ever been like at a TJ Maxx or something and you hear the beginning of a song and you're like, oh my God, I love this song. And then it turns out to be an entirely different song that you don't like. I fear that song. That is my biggest fear.
Oh yeah.
Like someone being like, oh, I really love this song.
I love this song.
It's this.
Oh.
No. That and being a one-hit wonder. I would rather not make it at all. than be a one-hit wonder. I would rather not have to have like being Radiohead and like hearing people yell "creep." So, like that's like I can't imagine like playing a show and like everybody being there for one song. That
sure
me so much.
Yeah, like with the whole like because Pierce the Veil got really popular again when like TikTok like started.
Right, tons of bands did.
Sleep Token. I'm just talking metal bands because that's what I know.
Exactly.
And you'll see these videos of people walking out of Pierce the Veil shows right after King for a Day. They got their TikTok video and they all left. And it's just like, I can't even imagine.
The attention span thing
so
is
bad.
rough for me because I'm not great at promoting. Like, we literally have the Instagram. Also, it's floatinground band at Instagram, if anybody wants to follow us. But we can't get the videos and the promotion going because we're all busy doing our parts with the band.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, I want to focus on writing. It's like, I don't want to focus on like making little snippets and being like, please listen to us. This is cool. We put the song out.
Yeah.
It's hard to like, not just want something else to monetize that. Because it's a huge now that you have to promote yourself.
And the worst part is we're like, my generation and the generation that follows. I mean, we're into the iPad kid generation. That's where we're at. And you know, it honestly makes me cringe a little bit every time I sit down with the camera in front of me and I'm getting ready to say some stupid shit for Instagram about a show or a song. And, you know, I mean, you have no idea how fucking badly I wish it was 1983.
Right.
And, you know, me and Jace could, you know, catch a bus to LA and go play a bunch of shows and see if we have
it. Yeah.
And see if we, and you know what?
Just learn.
Exactly.
It's not like that now. The market is so saturated.
No, it's not. And, you know, for better or worse, the bar for entry to being a musician is kind of at its lowest and yet its highest.
Right.
You know, I guess your bar for being a self-sustaining musician is at the highest it's ever been.
Right.
But to start out,
it's rough.
You can be whoever.
100%.
But, you know, and that just is what it is.
It is. It changes. You have to change with the times.
For sure.
It's a rough adjustment. I was like, by the time we put out a full album, I'm like, I want somebody else to be promoting that because honestly, there is definitely something to be said for doing it all yourself and putting in that work. But I want to make sure that it's not taking away from the parts that are really important to me. And so like the downtime, like I love show season. The downtime I get when show season is done where I can just really sit down and write and not think about set lists or like set times and all those things. That's my favorite part. Like I really got in it to be a writer.
No, I completely agree. I think the best part of it is just, you know, when you're formulating the songs.
100%.
And you got something special for the August 24th show? You got a set list ready? Or are you guys like a set list day of band?
I'm obsessed with set lists. I have so many different friends that are just like, set lists don't matter. It's just wing it. Just play what you feel. I'm like, I feel like putting together a set list because I know exactly how long it is.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Like, just because of how bad my memory is. I mean, it's gotten to the point where it's gotten so bad that, because Jace, bless his heart, he's very good at all the things that I'm horrible at, you know, which is like being on time, having the set list ready.
That's why good together.
And so he in just like massive letters, check your fucking tuning, Tyler. And I'm just like, and I can't even be mad because it's like,
no, it's true.
It's just like, yeah.
Also, I thought our show was on the 16th.
Is it on the 16th? Why did I see? It's on the 16th?
It's on the 16th.
I
was going to say.
I said 24th. There's another show on the 24th. We're playing a different show. I got mixed up.
I'm glad that I didn't get mixed up.
August 16th.
August 16th. Okay. Good, because that's what's
Black Bugs.
Okay, cool. I was like, man, I'm going to have to move some shit around if it's the 24th because there's a lot going on there.
No.
So I am pleased that it's
I am
the 16th.
so sorry. Yeah, no, it is the 16th.
Say it 14 more times. It's the 16th of August.
16th of August. All right.
Okay.
Love it.
Okay.
But it was great having you, and I had a great time talking to you. And honestly, I want to get to know you better. You seem really, really cool.
I'm always down to hang out with more musicians. We could learn a thing or two from each other, I'm sure.
Hell yeah.
I try,